India, the subcontinent, Vivan's homeland, situated to the northeast of Australia. It is broken up into many different areas with different and unique cooking methods, spices, and other local ingredients. Then we have the religious areas. If this wasn't enough, we also have the migration of settlers from all over the world who have brought with them their own array of culinary delights. Historical influences that have played a part are invasions, contests by other nations, religious traditions, and social customs. Spices that have been introduced are some of the staple foods that we've seen include some of the different cooking methods that we've seen include, and the mixing of ingredients to resemble a paste, then serving it with rice or on flatbreads. To the south, we see meals based around rice, lentils, and stews. In the north, you'll find lots of curries and breads such as naan bread, rotis, and samosa. Almost all religious occasions in India require a feast, such as Diwali feast, Holi, Purampoli, and Pola, which is part of the Maharashtrian festival by farmers to worship the bulls by expressing gratitude. An interesting and unusual aspect to note, however, considering the multitude of religious, cultural, and regional differences, one element is common: eating with your hands. By eating with your fingers, we stimulate the 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth, eliciting the digestive juices in our stomachs that it is about to eat and engages your consciousness of taste, textures, and aromas. In the following charts, you'll see that Australia's yield more from rice and sugar, but less in regards to wheat than India, taking into account that India harvests a larger area for rice, sugar, and wheat than Australia, which would indicate Australia is more efficient in yielding from harvested ground, although Australia is behind in the production of rice, sugar, and wheat than India. In regards to India's production, import and export, and domestic supplies, we see that from the data, India is fairly self-sufficient across the wheat, rice, sugar, and milk production. They import vastly smaller quantities, they export slightly higher, and are still able to maintain their domestic supply. Migration from India to Australia began in the early 1900s. In 1947, we saw India's independence from Britain, with many British citizens born in India then migrating to Australia, with Anglo-Indian people bringing with them the Indian cuisine recipes. In 1966, we saw an increase in migration of Indians to our shores due to the relaxation of immigration policy. During the 1960s and 70s, many Australians travelled through India, thus being submerged in the culture and cuisine, built a large following of the Indian cuisine which they brought back with them. Over the past 10 years, migration from India to Australia has increased. Now, with such a large population boost from one culture, it was only time before we had a major increase in exposure to Indian festivals and ultimately the Indian cuisine. With the increase in immigration these days, Indian food can now be found across Australia through Indian cuisine restaurants, takeaways, Indian supermarkets, and now the introduction of multicultural cooking classes, similar to that of Ms. Gupta's, an Indian migrant that migrated to Australia in 1983 and has provided a great influence to the broader community by passing on her passion for culture and celebration through food. Ms. Gupta has been quoted as saying, "Food is the one thing you can use to connect a bridge between Indians and Australians. Food can bring you very close to people." Other influences and exposures come from social media forums, cooking shows, celebrity chefs promoting the Indian cuisine, and cuisine blogs, and the multitude of Indian cookbooks that are now available whether through bookstores or online. The internet age has surely opened the world to an infinite cuisine cookbook, not only for Indian cuisine, but all multicultural cuisine. Thank you.